Welcome on Texas football live here in New Orleans, Louisiana, waiting on the Sugar Bowl. While I was at the Sugar Bowl and all the festivities around it this week, CJ Vogel of On Texas Football has been down in Orlando at the All-American game for Under Armour. He's been reporting on it. A lot of interesting notes and news. Let's start with one. Colin Simmons, the defensive end, edge prospect, #1 player in the state of Texas, will not be playing in this game, even though he was elected a team captain. He's going to try to nurse an ankle injury back to health and not risk that. Some other news and notes. We're going to have some video and some interviews in this recruiting report alongside everything I'm saying here. So be aware that Xavier Filsaime and Ryan Williams interviews with them both will follow this video as well. A couple notes that CJ wanted me to pass along. Jerrick Gibson looks like a bowling ball, but doesn't run like one necessarily. He had some good hands out of the backfield, according to CJ. Looked pretty good and pretty impressive physically to be that big, that quick, and that fast. CJ really was high on him. He also mentioned Daniel Cruz in workouts last night was absolutely the quickest and strongest at the point of attack of all the interior linemen. That's really saying something, considering this is an All-American game. You're not supposed to be anything there necessarily unless you're rated that way. He wasn't rated that highly. We know that our friend Jerry Hamilton, always loved Daniel Cruz and has mentioned him as an elite prospect, but he wasn't necessarily rated that way by recruiting services. Young man out of Richland Hills up in the mid-cities area between Dallas and Fort Worth. That's another news and note that we need to talk about. Then you have Zina Umeozulu. You'll be able to see from the video of him that we share here just how long and lean he is and how much room for growth the young man has out of Allen, the brother of Neto Umeozulu as well. Then you have the 3 defensive backs that are in town or in Orlando for this big matchup that's coming in the Under Armour game. The 3 defensive backs, Kobe Black, Jordan Johnson-Revelle, and Xavier Filsaime. Both Black and Jordan Johnson-Revelle working at different spots. Black at corner, JJR at safety for this game. I want to spend a little bit of time on Xavier Filsaime because we're going to talk to him personally here. CJ conducted an interview that I want to let you guys hear. But the real thing here for me with Xavier Filsaime is I was told that he looks the part every bit on the field as a 5-star as he does as a track star. He was one of the most impressive people at the Under Armour camp yesterday in the first day of practice. So he was described as exactly the way you want him. All right, we'll have more. CJ's got these 2 interviews. There is a couple more recruiting notes I want to mention. Texas remains active in the portal right now. There are a couple guys in the portal Texas is pursuing on an ongoing basis. Defensive lineman in particular, perhaps a safety, and then they're going to look at a wide receiver and tight end as well. Those guys, Texas still going after a couple of them right now. They're also waiting for this next wave, they think, of guys that are perhaps going into the portal after coming off their bowl games. That portal window closes January 2nd. That's the last date you can put it in. And then there's a 48-hour window where we'll wait to see what other players perhaps put their name in that come available January 3rd and January 4th. So the portal closes January 2nd, but actually you'll hear some more trickling in news on the 3rd and 4th of January. That's now, of course, here we are, New Year's Eve, 2023, and this is what's happening right now. All right, let's go to those interviews, starting with Xavier Filsaime, followed by Ryan Williams, the wide receiver out of Saraland in Alabama, who is expected to visit Texas in late January. He's a 2025 originally receiver that has reclassified to 2024. All right, let's go to CJ now in Orlando.
All right, here in Orlando, 5-star 2024, reclassified 2024 wide receiver Ryan Williams out of Saraland. What's it like being out here in Orlando for the Under Armour All-American game? I mean, For life now, you're an Under Armour All-American. How cool is that?
It's crazy because I committed to the game my freshman year, but I never knew I was gonna be a 2024. So just because I camped with a lot of these guys, and I mean they were the older guys, but now that we're in the same class, it's crazy, and it's a very competitive atmosphere, and I'm just excited to be here.
I was going to say, you're here a year early now that the reclassification is here. What ultimately went into that decision to, kind of say, I want to be in college a year earlier?
Definitely, I feel like me and my family felt like I was pretty developed as a high school football player. So just taking that next step and understanding that you got to get better. And I didn't want to stay another year and be complacent and start to lose value. So, just hopping into that next step is definitely a big decision.
I'm currently committed to Alabama. There's 3 officials coming up at the end of the month and into February. Alabama, Texas on the 27th, and then Auburn on the 3rd. Is that correct? What is about Texas that has allowed them to kind of linger around and maintain, communication with you as your recruitment's progressed?
Well, first off, they communicate really well. I talk to Coach Muley, Coach Stark all the time, and they do a really good job recruiting me. But just the offense, and I like scoring touchdowns. And Coach Stark, he's an offensive mastermind, and I know they're gonna win games. I know it's a big market. I know I could thrive there. So definitely just taking that into consideration that it's a place that I could be.
Was this year and how they've kind of, jumped into the playoff, has that been a surprise at all to you?
No, not really. I mean, whenever Coach Sarkisian got there, I knew that because he's really good at coaching, so yeah.
And then in that office, where do they kind of picture you? With Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, what kind of role have they pitched to you and see you should you pick the Longhorns at the end of the day?
Well, more than likely they'll be leaving, but even if they don't, I mean, I'll just be learning from some very experienced guys and just understanding my role and going out there and making my plays whenever my time is called.
And going back to Sarkisian, I know there's a kind of a cool story there about how he offered you.
Yeah.
What was it that clicked there?
I had just got on the phone with Coach Muley. We had been talking for a while, and Coach Sark comes in because Coach Muley he said he used to watch my film just for fun. So Coach Sark walks in, and he was like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "Ron Williams." And he restarted the film, and he watched the first play, and that was it. He offered me. He watched the first play and offered me. So.
It was that fast.
Yeah.
So one play and an offer.
Yeah.
Well, that sure says a lot. I wanted to ask you about KJ Lacey, obviously, teammates of yours at Saraland. What's he told you about Texas?
I mean, he loves Texas. I know Texas is like I said, it's somewhere that we could thrive. So he's just, taking it into consideration so we can take our duo to the next level.
And then there's a couple Texas kids here. Have you talked to them at all?
A couple?
7?
They got a whole roster. They could have had a football team they said to. But, yeah, I've talked to them, They've been trying to take me in, recruit me hard.
Well, good deal. Anything that you're most looking forward to upon getting back down to Austin?
Definitely, just feeling the love and just experiencing and seeing what they have to offer.
Good deal. One more time, Ryan Williams out of Saraland, 5-star wide receiver and Under Armour All-American. Down here in Florida with 5-star Texas signee defensive back Xavier Filsaime out of McKinney, Texas. A recent addition to the Texas class. You're an Under Armour All-American for the rest of your life. How cool is that?
It's feel good.
Yeah. Is that a long time coming? Did you know right away when you were growing up that you had an athleticism that would eventually lead to you being, a highly coveted football player?
I mean, I always knew, I was athletic, be outside playing with the kids, apartments and stuff. But it was something I always wanted to do. Just watching the game as a kid, watching the guys, playing it, Dalvin Cook and Derwin James and all the other dudes, really inspired me to play.
And I wanted to ask a quick question about Steve Sarkisian and how that staff was able to come in late for you. I mean, what is it about Coach Sark that really stands out to you and was able to really earn your signature towards the end of this cycle?
I like the way how he coach. He'll get on to you, but he'll show you that he loves you, and then he always keep it real. If you're not doing good, he gonna tell you you're not doing good. If you're doing good, he gonna tell you doing good. But he'll keep you humble and just make sure that you always improve as a player.
and now obviously you're one of 7 Texas signees down here in Orlando. How fun is that you got, 6 future teammates with you running the hallways of this, really massive hotel?
That's really good. Like, just off the rip, first day we had a good time, spending time with each other. It's like we knew each other for years. I could tell like this would be a lifetime friendship. Some of the guys there, like Zena, Kobe, Jordan, all them dudes.
Real quick, what can Texas fans expect from you once you get onto campus?
So I'm gonna get my all. There ain't really too much to say. Y'all just gonna have to see.
Perfect. Well, that's Xavier Filsaime, 5-star defensive back out of McKinney, Texas, and now a future Texas Longhorn.